Do not buy an AVATA for your first FPV drone. Buy this instead. So don't get me wrong, the AVATA is a fantastic drone, but for me, I just feel like this is so much better. So one of the main reasons why you'd want to buy the DJI FPV over the AVATA is the type of flying that you do. If you want to dive down mountains, get some serious speed, and have the agility of an FPV drone, this is the one you want over the AVATA. Now the AVATA is quite fast as well, but for the type of flying that I want to do, I just don't think I can trust the AVATA to do what I want it to do. The AVATA is great if you want to do slow cinematic flying, especially around people, through houses, through windows, through gaps. But you can also achieve that with this drone, although I wouldn't recommend flying this around people. But as far as agility goes and capturing those moments that you typically would want to capture with an FPV drone, this is the main weapon of choice for me. The DJI FPV is far more agile than the AVATA. I feel like the AVATA is not going to listen to my commands, and it's sluggish coming out of turns and just lacks that extra power that the DJI FPV has. I also feel a little bit safer knowing I have that extra power in this unit to be able to just accelerate out of a scary situation. Now, why the DJI FPV drone is perfect for beginners is pretty simple, is you have that flexibility to go from normal mode to manual mode. When you first come out of an FPV simulator, it's really scary to go from that to a real drone. It was for me anyway. You've spent all this money on a new drone and you really don't want to crash it. So being able to take off and just land in normal mode is absolutely amazing, because that's where you're going to crash. If you can fly around and that's fine, but when it comes to landing and taking off, you have to be able to hover. And for beginners, that's something that's really quite difficult. Having the flexibility to just flick it into N mode and land it, it absolutely changes the game when it comes to FPV. Another reason why this drone is fantastic for beginners is it's GPS enabled. So that allows you to have a home point in your goggles that you can physically see where you took off from. So if you're in a forest or dense bushland or somewhere where you don't have a landmark, you have a little H in your goggles that tell you where you came from, which is so nice to have. Having the GPS enabled also allows you to have that return to home function if anything goes wrong and you need to use it. Now, a lot of people are gonna say, well, the DJI FPV and the AVATA, they're not real FPV drones anyway. And to the enthusiast, I can see why they're a bit pissed off about this whole unit, because they're going to get bombarded with newbie FPV pilots who have no idea what they're doing. They're going to buy this drone, launch them in the air and think that they're professional. There's still a really big learning curve to becoming a good FPV pilot. Coming from a simulator and going to fly a drone for the first time, having that peace of mind that you're not going to crash your pride and joy into the ground on your first flight is really nice. What is amazing about the DJI FPV as well is the batteries. Now, I know when I first got into FPV, the most overwhelming thing was the battery situation. You need a certain charger, you need a whole separate degree on how to charge your batteries just to fly FPV. One of the really nice things about having the DJI FPV is you have lithium batteries that will decharge themselves. You can just chuck them in and charge them. You don't have to worry about your batteries. That to me is a lifesaver, and it just saves so much time, so much confusion, and ultimately could save you from burning down your house. And I think everyone has to remember, this is the first prototype that DJI have released as an FPV drone. It's only going to get better from here on in. So the AVATA's come out and it's a different style of FPV, but I'm so excited to see the second iteration of this drone. I'm also not saying that there is no place for traditional FPV drones, because I own traditional FPV drones as well. I just think as a beginner, coming in and learning on a drone like the DJI FPV is going to make your experience so much more enjoyable, and you're actually going to love to fly. It's not going to be scary. It's not going to be a chore to charge your batteries and remember to do all that crap. You're actually going to want to fly. Now, I'm not saying this drone is perfect. It's far from perfect. I've had some glitches. I think with any kind of product, you're going to have glitches. People who build their own FPV drones, they have glitches as well. Sometimes they won't even take off. So I think you have to keep that in mind when it comes to this drone. It's not always going to be perfect, but 90% of the time it's perfect. And that's it for the video, guys. Let me know in the comments below, do you think this is the perfect beginner drone, or would you prefer the AVATA? Let me know. And if you did like the video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Hooroo.